Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Portage Lakes Joint Vocational School District Board. We go ahead and call this meeting to order. 6:01. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Chinaki?
Here.
Mr. Cohen is absent. Mr. Fauser?
Here.
Mr. Hercules is absent. Mr. Hofer?
Here.
Mrs. McGraw is absent. Mr. Petrie?
Here.
Mr. Jividen?
Here.
And Mr. Campbell is absent.
Okay. You rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
There it is right there.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any visitors? Visitors. We have no visitors. No visitors coming. All right. We'll move right along to the report of the treasurer.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a recommendation to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of May 18th, 2023 as presented.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Hofer. Thank you. Call the roll.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 2 is a recommendation to approve the financial reports, check register, bank reconciliation, and comparative financial report for the month of May 2023 as presented, subject to audit.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Fauser.
Just gotta jump in.
Got it. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 3 is a recommendation to approve the final amended appropriations for fiscal year 2023 as presented. The legal level of control is fund level.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
This is just wrapping up the fiscal year 23 appropriations for the end of the year, which is June 30th, 2023. There were a couple changes related to student aid proceeds. Basically, the student aid we received through the federal student aid programs, rather than being $800,000 like we started the year assuming it would be, it was more like a little over $1 million.
Oh.
So we had to increase the appropriations there. That money flows into the adult education program, which is why those appropriations increased as well. We also increased appropriations in our scholarship funds because we just keep receiving scholarship dollars in our adult ed programs especially. So.
Excellent.
That's a good thing.
Good. Nice problem to have.
Yeah.
Can we call the roll, please?
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 4 is a recommendation to approve the fiscal year 2024 temporary appropriations as presented. Legal level of control shall be fund level.
So moved.
Second.
I will just characterize these as a placeholder. We will pass the permanent appropriations in September. So this is just making our expenditures between now and September legal.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 5 is a recommendation to approve a transfer of $108,763.13 from General Fund 001 to Debt Service Fund 002 in order to make the 2024 fiscal year payments towards the LTGO School Improvement Bond Series 2021.
So moved.
Second.
So in spring 2021, we borrowed $1 million through an unvoted bond issue. We were paying interest of 1.805% on that. It allowed us to, although we had the cash reserves to pay for that project, which is the safety services building on the other side of the parking
I was
lot.
gonna say, that's all.
Although we had the cash balances where we could have paid cash for that, we decided to go ahead and borrow instead. And so when you look at the returns we're receiving on our investment portfolio and being able to hold on to those proceeds for a longer period of time rather than just spending all that money at once, you know, we're getting 4 or 5% on our investment proceeds, so
That's smart.
it's made all the sense in the world. This debt will be paid off at the end of December 2030.
Very good. Call the roll.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 6 is a recommendation to approve a contract extension with Ohio School Plan in the amount of $36,256 effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 for liability, pollution, auto, violence, and property insurance. Cyber insurance will be placed with CFC State National Insurance Company at an additional premium of $5,285. Excess crime will be placed with Travelers at an additional premium of $1,370.
So moved. Second.
Overall, our insurance premiums are up about 7%. Part of that is replacement values are up so much over the last couple of years especially. Also, the cost of doing business with regard to cyber liability insurance keeps going up. Ohio School Plan used to have it as part of its package. That was removed from the package, and now we have to secure that elsewhere. So costs went up a little bit, but still 7%. I'll take that in this environment. So.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 7 is a recommendation to approve a scholarship donation in the Patricia N. Vargo Scholarship from Sue Kunis in the amount of $2,000.
So moved.
Second.
This is another example of just continuing to receive donations and scholarship funds for our, in particular, our adult ed nursing program.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Fauser?
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mr. Jividen?
Yes.
Motion passes. And that concludes the treasurer's section.
All right, we'll move forward to the report of the superintendent.
Okay, I have a few things to talk about before we dive into the agenda. I wanted to update you that this was the first year that we had full driver's ed for students where they had the online piece, the in-car driving, and we had 96 students complete driver's ed and receive their license through PLCC. And I can't tell you the number of teachers that said to us that they had students who were able to go out on work placement because they had a license. So definitely the right way to do things, and it's a very seamless approach, a contract that we have with Myers Driving School, and it's very easy, very easy. The next exciting thing is that Lisa and I have a meeting next week with the Akron Zoo. It's our second meeting. We're very excited about the potential of a partnership with the Akron Zoo for a new program. That would be a very high-level program for students who are not just students who like animals. It's really about students who want to do research, and you know, they may go into the area of zoology, but there is an example at Columbus Zoo that partners with Delaware Area Career Center. And we are in conversations with them. We hope to go visit them together with the zoo in September. But the zoo is very excited for this partnership. And Lisa and I are hoping that we can open it fall of '24. I think the wheels of bureaucracy will cause it to open fall of '25. But we're hoping. But it's exciting, very exciting. The state budget, you may have heard that the Senate passed their omnibus today, and I can tell you, I did speak with Maggie Hess, the leader of the organization that I belong to, and they did not put the extra 200 million, the 100 million into the CTE facilities money as we hoped they would, and I appreciate those of you who contacted your politicians to encourage them, but they did not listen to us this time. But what happens next is it goes back to the House from the Senate on Wednesday, and then, you know, they'll do a couple things. Then it goes to conference committee, and that's where we believe if it's going to go back in to the state budget, that's where it will be. We do not know yet who the conference committee members are. They have not been appointed yet. When they do, I will let you know, and perhaps we can contact them. Tonight on the agenda, there are 2 items for you to consider for this particular room. And some of you, I think only actually Mr. Hofer may remember meeting in this room, the board meeting. Were you here? Okay. And you know, 11 people back there was very crowded and very dangerous actually for the TV sets. But we believe if we can do a minor renovation to this room, we can use it for a very comfortable board meeting once a month, so that's not as important, but as a training center for our kids for CPR and Stop the Bleed and any other training that we could have for the community. So I primitively put nice green tape on each of the walls. So Mr. Fowles, if you can look over on that side, you can see we're going to raise the floor so it will be even with the level that we are on. So it'll be a much bigger floor. So you'll see the first agenda item in regards to that for us to utilize Shook to go out and design and seek the bids. The second item in relation to that is they went ahead and sought bids. When you seek bids, you don't make any commitments to that. So they sought the bids for that, and one came back, and I'll be making the recommendation for that. The original was not to exceed $115,000, and the low bid was Beaver Construction at 65. I think, was it 65 or 67? 65. Andrew Lowther said he wasn't surprised by the difference in price with Beaver, and that Beaver was awarded the cement contract at Manchester and at Perry School, which is right now that's kind of their wheelhouse is the cement, and that's what's really going to be it's going to be a very primitive floor, and so they can be very useful that way. We're not going to carpet it in the beginning. So also I want to talk to you a little bit about, we know that we put a proposal to the state for the facility money for 2 big projects. One of them was a total renovation of the welding lab, and the other was a brand new dental assisting lab. So we have to also think that what if we do not get any of the money of that proposal, and it is very clear that we must do significant work on the welding lab. And what I will say in regards to that is that it is a high enrollment for our high school, and it is a moneymaker for our adult ed. And so it not only needs to have renovation, it deserves to have it. The proposal that went forth to the state for just the welding that included everything A to Z, and probably what I would say all the bells and whistles, was $4.7 million. Wow. So if we don't get the money or any contribution towards that, we would need to come together to see what might we do without. You know, for example, the state made us add an extra 15% in contingency costs. That's automatically 6 figures off of the top. So there are some places that we can cut some corners in order to do that, but we will certainly need to be having that conversation no later than August about that. And the cool thing about it is it can happen, it can start in the fall if it's approved, and they could still have class there. They can use half of the bays as they're working on the other half of the bays. So we'll have a lot more conversation about that, but I just want that on your radar and to be aware of that. Okay. All right. So we'll dive into the agenda now. Item number 2 is extended time and supplemental contracts. These are the same positions and supplemental contracts that we have each year, and I'm recommending that the board approve the extended time and supplemental contracts listed above.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki,
Yes.
Mr. Fauser,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Jividen.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 3 is employment. I am very excited to say that we have found one custodian for our 2 positions that are open. You see their name twice because it's this year and then for next year, Eric McCown. And he is, fairly in the younger category, has had a lot of experience. He currently works for a subcontractor of Spectrum. So he has a lot of skills besides, cleaning, so he can do some break and fix things for us. So I'm recommending that the board approve the employment contract listed above.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wright, please call the roll.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Fauser,
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Jividen.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 4, our substitute list for next school year. As you know, we do not employ substitutes for the teaching ranks, but this is for our custodian ranks. And we have a nice little crew there, so I'm recommending that the board approve the employees listed above.
Need a motion in a second?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Wright, call the roll, please.
Mr. Chinaki,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Fauser,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Jividen.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 5 is the construction and design services contract with Shook Construction, not to exceed $115,000 for them to bring they call it the tiered classroom, but we've always referred to it as a lower lecture hall renovation. So I'm recommending that the board approve the construction and design services proposal.
So moved.
Mr. Hofer? Second. Mr. Wright, call the roll, please.
Oh, did you second it?
I did.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Jividen,
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki,
Yes.
Mr. Fauser,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 6, I'm recommending that the board approve the award of the tiered classroom bid to Beaver Construction in the amount of $65,000 and to authorize change orders not to exceed 5%. We had 3 bids, one for the $65,000, one for $87,900, and one for $117,000. So that one was over the excessive cost, so. And I have been assured that it would be done before the start of school.
Awesome.
Even better. Okay.
Very nice.
And so moved then.
Second. Hofer.
And second. Never.
Mr. Chinaki.
didn't
Okay.
It's okay.
I'm at the end
I
of the
did miss
world
it too.
there.
Okay. Call the
Somebody
roll,
put me at
please.
the end of the world. I'm begging.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki.
Yes.
Mr. Fauser,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Jividen.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 7 are the handbooks for next school year for the Adult Ed Practical Nursing Handbook and the Student Handbook Code of Conduct. There were very minor changes for clarity. I'm recommending that the board approve it.
So moved.
Mr. Fauser?
Second.
Mr. Wright, call the roll, please.
Mr. Fauser,
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki.
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Jividen.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 8, the yearly high school fees for next year. The only difference is for the first time, we have welding fees to cover the extensive cost of the gloves, the jacket, and the helmet. And I also want to make a note that any student who is on free or reduced lunch does not pay any fee. So I'm recommending that the board approve.
Does not pay fee?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
So moved.
Mr. Petrie? Can I get a second?
I'll second that then.
Mr. Wright, could you call the roll?
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki,
Yes.
Mr. Fauser,
Yes.
Mr. Jivedin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I'm recommending that the board approve the 2 donations listed above for our engineering and auto tech labs.
So moved.
Second.
Or second.
Yeah, we'll call that a tie.
Okay.
Mr. Wright, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki,
Yes.
Mr. Fauser,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Jivedin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
That concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. On to new business. Do any members have new business for the board? All right, we will move right into board recommendations. Bob was unable to be here this evening, but the information obviously is included in the agenda. So we wanted to go ahead and make I need a motion and a second to approve, under employment of the treasurer, the 5-year contract for Mr. Wright as treasurer, effective 8/1/2023 through 7/31/2028, per the contract as presented. It was sent to each of us earlier this week.
So moved.
Mr. Hofer, thank you.
Second.
Mr. Petrie, thank you. Mr. Wright, would you like to call the roll?
Sure. Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Chinaki,
Yes.
Mr. Fauser,
Yes.
Mr. Jivedin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Right? Okay. And the second order of business is under superintendent contract amendment. If you recall, the this is not a new contract, obviously, but the final year of the contract did not have an escalation in it.
Right.
So the board is recommending a 3% salary increase for the 2023-2024 school year for the superintendent.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Chang, thank you, Mr. Fauser. Mr. Wright, would you like to call the roll, please?
Mr. Chinaki,
Yes.
Mr. Fauser,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Jivedin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Thank you very much. That concludes the board recommendations. Now for board members informal, Mr. Fauser?
It's June.
I like that.
We always sit back and we go, oh, it's gonna be summer, it's gonna, now it's June. Now you're sitting there going, well, I got another 2 months. Anyway, it always runs. I think the superintendent and treasurer are doing good jobs on their travel down the education path. It's all good. The school does a good job. Didn't hear a big speech tonight, but that's okay. Got things to do.
We're doing all right.
But other than that, I enjoy coming in, even though there's some. But I like it. I like it a lot. That's it. Have a good June.
You know, the year wrapped up really quickly. As Kim alluded to, big things are going on in Columbus. I did submit written testimony to the Senate for the educational side, and there's a process for that. And then followed up with that with our Senate Rep, Christine Rogner. So we'll see where that goes. It's been a flurry of activity for the biennial budget, so we'll see what happens when that. I'll update you with the links and get that out to you, because it's been, every day there's another, seems like there's another update. So the wheels of legislation are interesting. I know that if you go back to, I think it's House Bill 960, or it was passed back in 1976, when the inflation rate in Ohio and across the country was rampant, and I think peaked right around the 1979-1980 at 19-21%. That was supposed to freeze tax rates for schools, and it would be, everything that we would collect really became a flat tax. So, well, that creates a lot of other issues, because as your expenses go up, you know, you're still collecting the same amount of money. So I know the Senate leader, I think Huffman, said, You know, we've never adjusted anything in the state for taxes for 47 years, and we want to try to take a look at it. So, of course, you know how that goes in Columbus. It's, both parties have got to throw their weights around, and
Sure.
just wish they could do it a little bit quicker and more efficiently. So I will update you. A fantastic year that we finished with. Thank you, Chris and Kim and Lisa, for your hard work. As the other school teachers and people, they're on vacation for per day. Well earned, I would say. So have a nice summer. We'll see you in July.
Yeah.
Mr. Petrie?
It's just refreshing to be a part of a group that's talking about renovations, construction, new programs, and I appreciate the attitude of growth, and look forward to working with everybody.
Mr. Chang?
Thank you. Yes, Mrs. Redmond showed us the locker bays and the renovations that are ongoing there, and pretty exciting stuff there, which is really great to see. Also want to commend some of the collaborations that we have going on. So whether it's with the Myers Driving, whether it's with the Akron Zoo that's coming up here in a couple of days or in the next few. Very exciting times for the students and for the administration here. So yeah, I mean, I think the only cars in the parking lot right now are ours, but there's a ton of work being done with this building. So I think that's really, really cool. So very exciting, and I think it's some really, really great stuff to see. So that's all that I have.
I will echo the crew here. I think the attitude of progress around here is refreshing. When you have in any environment, but particularly the environment we've had the last couple of years, everything seems to be focused on, cutting, holding, trying to stay where you are, and I think that it's a testament to the leadership here. So congratulations, all of you, on a job well done. Now we turn to 23, 24, right? And on we go. So with that, our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, July 20th at 6 p.m. somewhere in this building, depending on construction. I'm just saying.
I wear construction vests.
Right, we're hard hats. I'm in.
That would be fun, actually.
Safety goggles.
Yeah.
We might be outside.
We might be outside.
Yeah.
Could be outside.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? All right. We're out of here, sir. All right.
Good. 6:29.
All right.
That was one of the faster ones.
That's part of the goal.